Okay, so last question in the hot seat. What are three actions you have taken that have transformed your life for the better?
Actions that I've taken that have changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the first one is actually proposing to my wife, and I'm not trying to be romantic, like one of these guys here, but I was a very professional bachelor for a long while, right?
Uh-huh.
And I met my wife, who was then my girlfriend, for about a year, and uh, um, she was working at my office. It was my company. She started working for us, and um, she texted me. We were thinking maybe she's pregnant, maybe, and she was texting me, "I am pregnant." And then I told her, let's not talk about this, in the office in front of everybody. Let's talk about it in the lobby, right? So it's a 11th story. We were at the 11th floor, and we were at the elevator, going down to the first floor. And during this elevator ride, I needed to make a decision. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to be who I always was? And, okay, so maybe an abortion, or, it's a mistake. Um, but then around the fifth floor, I've decided I want to marry her and have a kid and not be my typical self. I was 30 something back then, which we did. And we married for over 10 years. We have three kids. This kid that could have been aborted easily if I've just been myself, my usual self, um, is the light of my life. I love this kid. Like I would protect him and cherish him any way I could, right? And it was just an instant. I always joke about that. If my office was at the third floor, I was probably still a bachelor. So that was, a serious decision, and I didn't even know how serious it was back then. I just thought, why not? Um, that's one thing. The second thing is taking care of myself physically. While I'm not always doing a great job at it, I still try. So I train wherever I can. I try to eat properly. It doesn't mean that I always do it, but it's always on my mind, and I'm always trying to take good care of myself, sleep well, eat well, train well. It was easier when I was a soldier and an officer because that is mandatory, but afterwards you just need to take care of yourself. Otherwise, this machine will betray you eventually, and you'll regret it. Maybe last thing that I do is I've taken a decision, not to live my life as if today was my last day on earth, because it doesn't make sense, because it's not, and we need to plan ahead. But to make sure that I try to take decisions and try to think about them, like how would very old, not just plain old, very old Chakaf will think about this in 40 years, and I try to think of things that way, and see what is important, what is not important. Uh, should I be angry at my mother right now because she just asked me to fix something on her computer instead of just calling it a clean? Should I do that, or do I want to remember myself as, you know, even though I wasn't a kid, I still helped my mother when she needed me? It's like all these things that it's very easy to, just skip by them and just ignore them, but try to figure out what's important, and what you think will be important when you're older. Making sure that you spend enough time with your friends. That's important. You're going to regret not doing that when you're old. And I'm trying to live in a way that I'm trying to optimize to not having a lot of regrets. So that's
Yeah.
maybe the third thing I'm doing.
Well said. Well said. I mean, definitely lots of wisdom in there. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.